So here's a short story that you gym goers will most certainly appreciate about a guy who put this gal who goes to his gym in her place after he noticed that many times when he was working out, she'd be setting up the tripod and filming herself working out, but he was always in the video. And he didn't want to be in the video and try to handle it diplomatically. And nope, she was giving him a hard time. And he handles it by going to management, and it turns into a big, giant drama fest. And I'll be going to go over here making the point, guys, that you need to always stand your ground. If somebody's crossing your boundaries, whatever that may be, you need to stand up for yourself. And of course, there's people out there that do not care about that. And in this situation, we'll try to make him out to be the bad guy, but never back down. Titled, Am I the a-hole for telling a woman at the gym to stop filming me because I kept ending up in her videos? He says, I'm 31 years old, and I go to the same gym most mornings before work. It's a normal chain type of gym, not like one of those influencer gyms, but people still record themselves doing sets anyway. There are signs about not filming other members without consent, but it's not like this never happens. There you go. Signs everywhere. Don't do that. The same thing at my gym. A few weeks ago, this woman, I'll call her Jenna, started setting up a tripod near the cable machines. I didn't care, like I'm not trying to police anybody. I just did my workout and stayed out of the way. But then I kept noticing I was showing up in her videos anyway in the background. One day I was doing lateral raises and her phone was pointed straight through the mirror so you can see a big chunk of the floor behind her. I only noticed because I could literally see myself in the mirror on her screen when I walked past. I'm not saying she was doing it on purpose, but I also don't want to be in some stranger's videos at 7 o'clock in the morning when I'm half awake and sweaty. This guy has every right to take issue with this. I'm sure you gym goers have noticed this nowadays. You try to do your workout, and there's always multiple people, usually young people, recording themselves. If they want to record themselves in a private area, fine. If they're doing this because they're personal trainers and they're trying to do this for their business, fine. Most of the time, it's just people looking for attention, and they get validation online. Guys and girls, guys do this too. And if you're in the background there, you've got a right to have an issue with this. And the gyms tell you, but she clearly doesn't care. Well, the first time I said something to her, I tried to keep it casual. I waited until she was between sets and I said, hey, I think I'm in the background of that. Would you mind adjusting it a bit? She sighed, moved it slightly, and said she was recording her forum. I don't care what you're recording for. I don't want to be in your videos. There's a fucking sign right there. A week later, it happened again, and this time I said it more directly. I said, I'm not comfortable being in your videos. Can you point away from the main floor or keep it tighter? She got annoyed and said that if I'm not comfortable, I can work out someplace else because it's a public gym. Talk about entitlement. I'm going to guess she's probably very good looking because otherwise she wouldn't be recording herself and therefore thinks that she's the queen of the world. And tells him to go someplace else. No, bitch, I'm not going anywhere. And oh yeah, public gym. No, it's not a public gym. It is a private gym where you pay a membership and they got rules on the fucking walls unless you can't read. I know the educational system is pretty bad in this country. A lot of people can't read. Believe it or not, they graduate and can't read. But seriously, she can read. Well, that's when I got frustrated. I told her it's not public, it's a private business, and I'm not the one filming. She rolled her eyes and walked away. After the first time, I would have gone to management. But this is what he does. So I went to the front desk and asked what the actual policy is. They told me filming is allowed, but if someone doesn't want to be in your shot, you're supposed to adjust it, and staff can step in and keep it from being an issue. I told them it's already an issue. I asked her twice. They went over and spoke to her. Oh, I can imagine her attitude. After that, she cornered me near the lockers and said I was a creep for watching her. And I'm trying to control women at the gym. And then now she feels targeted and anxious to come in. Right there. See that? Instantly, he's the bad guy. Can you imagine if the situation was reversed and a guy cornered a woman like that after that and made her feel unsafe? Holy crap. But she can do it to him. Clearly, she's a pretty girl. She's used to getting her way. Again, hello, you were recording me. But here's the thing. This guy should not bother arguing with her at all. The first time was one thing, because don't ever argue with the woman, because they're just going to bring drama and stir things up and twist things around and emotions and everything. But now we got this situation. She's feeling anxious. Now I'm sitting here wondering if I escalated too far. No. I just don't want to be in somebody's content. But I also get how going off to the staff can look like a bigger move than just letting it go. Am I the a-hole? No, you're not the a-hole. She's the a-hole. But she's already mind-effed you thinking that you are the a-hole. I'd march right back to the freaking staff. This time get the manager, not just Joe, the guy getting paid a little above minimum wage, and explain what's going on. And do not leave until it's crystal clear they handle this properly. But the thing is, I wouldn't put it past this girl. If she's a pretty girl, there's guys that obviously like her, to go tell guys that you're bothering her, that you're harassing her. And next thing you know, some 260-pound gorilla is after you, trying to give you a hard time to protect this little girl. Be aware of that, but do not back down. And that's the point, guys. People in life a lot of people are jerks. They think the whole world revolves around them, and typically the better looking they are or the more money they have, they can do whatever they want and not care about rules. There were signs everywhere all over that place saying that she's not supposed to be doing that, if it's bothering somebody. But nope, she doesn't care, because that's her source to getting more attention and validation, obviously, for social media. So you got to stand up for yourself and not back down. But this guy should not be leaving the gym or coming to the gym at a different time. No, I would not give a fucking inch in that situation. And at the end of the day, I'm sure there's some lawyers watching. I'm sure all it takes is just making the lawyer comment to the management about this. But then again, she could say the same thing too, saying, I feel unsafe in management. And who's going to, guy, girl, who they're likely to believe? Because what she'll do is she'll start crying and throwing tantrums. So at the end of the day, it's going to be a major headache for the management there. But then again, I'm not a lawyer, but if they have signs everywhere saying these are the rules, then therefore, probably at the end of the day, they can get rid of her. So there you go, guys. Stand up for yourself. Now, some comments here, because everybody's behind this guy. One guy says, you're not the a-hole. She taking videos that include you without consent, that corners you at the lockers to tell you you're making her feel unsafe. Please report this to management and don't engage with her directly in the future. Exactly. He should not at all talk to her anymore, because she'll just call that him harassing her making her feel unsafe. But again, I got to point out, do you see how easily she twists the things around to make him out to be the bad guy? That's what they do. Another one. Not the a-hole. She's trying to manipulate you by pulling the anxious and nervous card to make you feel bad, so you will not continue to call her out on her inappropriate behavior. I don't think she's trying to make him feel bad. I think she's trying to intimidate him so he doesn't get, reported or kicked out or whatever. Another one. Not the a-hole. You didn't go too far. You did exactly what was well within your right to do. The gym rules are clear, and she doesn't get to play the victim when she's the one breaking them. That's exactly what she's doing. And that's what she will continue to do. That's what people like her will always do. It's much easier to play the victim card than actually account for bad behavior. This guy says, I'd go even further than that and say the gym itself should be enforcing the rules. Ding, ding, ding. They shouldn't be leaving up to the members to do it themselves and put themselves in these kind of positions. Someone setting up an actual tripod should be easy enough for them to notice if they're paying even a bit of attention. That's why I said this guy should go to the manager, not Joe, the guy working the front desk getting paid a little bit above minimum wage. Nothing against Joe, but Joe doesn't have any power. Go to the management. And if it's a national chain, they don't need negative attention. And if they got signs everywhere making it clear, they need to enforce that. And one more. This is from a woman. She says, the woman, not the a-hole. You asked her twice, she ignored you, so you escalated the issue to a member of staff who told her off. I'm the kind of person who is very happy to call a man a creep, but in this instance, so long as you're being 100% honest in your description of the events, you're not being a creep, and you shouldn't have to be in her videos if you don't want to be. Also, it's obnoxious to film yourself working out. Yes, it is obnoxious to film yourself working out. The only justification for that is if you are someone that, is into fitness and you're trying to film, grow your business, showing what you can do, stuff like that. That's it. If you're just an average Joe doing it, it is for attention to show up. And I'm fucking right about that. So anyhow, guys, always stand up for yourself.